guys, what's going on? It's your boy Tank, and we are in the Farrah and Farrah Performance Studio hanging out with the boys from Colony House. We got Caleb and Park with us, and they're playing at Intuition Ale Works tonight, which, by the way, looking at your tour list, you guys are playing some amazing venues. I mean, Intuition is awesome. Do you like beer?
Oh, we do.
We do like beer.
Okay, you're going to be in for a treat.
Yeah.
Intuition. And you guys are playing Tipitina's, which is like that's like a legendary type of thing.
I
You
know.
just did Bonnaroo.
What the heck,
I mean,
man?
What's that feeling of like going to all these legendary locations and playing these stages and turning people into Colony House fans?
Well, I mean, we've been doing this long enough that like we've played the stage next to the stage you want to play, and you look across the street and you're like, one day we'll be over there. And now you got to be careful because that never stops,
Sure.
But the want and the need for the next best thing. But I think we're in a really sweet season of being able to appreciate, like, we've worked hard for these stages, and now we're here, and we do appreciate it, and we see it, and it's pretty special.
Well, some of the people that came in, just like salespeople and stuff like that, watching you guys warmed up, they all came in. They're like, "Oh my God, what's that song?" Because they probably listen to country.
Yeah.
So,
Same.
Just like you're earning all these new fans as you go, and that's got to be like a rewarding feeling, knowing that somebody walked in, and then they come out, and you might be like their favorite band now.
Yeah, it's wild. That's wild. But I guess that's kind of why we do it,
Right.
why we get out and play. Because that's the one thing with this band, like, it's taken, we've been doing this for almost 10 years now. And the constant has been the live show. Like, get us in front of people, and we'll become friends,
Right.
and hopefully they walk away a fan, and feel like they got, a nice warm hug from Colony House. That's kind of the vibe we're trying to put.
You guys from Franklin,
Yes.
Tennessee, that's just a few miles outside of Nashville.
That's right.
So that's got to be like a huge kind of like, is that an inspiration or is that kind of like a hindrance? Like, I got to get there or I got to get away from here kind of thing.
Ooh, interesting question.
Well, so the most recent album that we put out at the top of the year, it's called The Cannonballers. Interesting fact about it is,
X99.5 right now.
bingo, we had made all of our other studio albums in Nashville with Nashville producers. And it's funny, this was the first album where we ventured outside of Tennessee, went to Oklahoma to work with the producer that we were just really excited to work with. And the album kind of ended up turning into a love letter to Tennessee. So I think it's a little bit of both, where you want to be in the city and be influenced by just everything that Nashville has to offer, but it's also good to get out and you just get to experience different, different vibes, and it just, yeah.
I see kind of, because Tennessee now it's not country just. I mean, it's
Right.
everything.
Right.
Everybody's there now.
Totally.
That's the new music capital
Yeah.
of the world, basically. And you guys, one of my favorite songs by you is Landlocked Surf Rock.
Yeah.
Are you guys, because surf rock is what I would describe your sound kind of as. I would give it like a bit of a rockabilly.
Yeah.
A little bit more, I mean, you can't describe it as just one thing.
Right. Sure.
So do you have any aspirations of surfing or coast culture or anything
Oh
like that?
gosh, yes. That's why we view it from afar and kind of dream about, and the alternate universe of like, maybe in another life I would have been surfing, but every time we get out there, we're like, well, we're not surfers, we can't do that, so we'll stick to the surf rock, and that's like the closest wave that we can catch, I think. So, but yeah, I mean, it's super inspiring that like it's inspired our music, and obviously like every time we're on the West Coast, just like reminded of like like we're just living one of the coolest places in the world. It's such a beautiful place out there, and so it has been really inspiring through the years. Whether it's on the actual coast, or we have a song called El Capitan from our time, on off days we try to hit up any national park or whatever we can to kind of breathe in some fresh air. So yeah, man, always looking around, taking notes, seeing how it inspires us. Not our first time in Jacksonville.
No.
We've played here a couple times.
Yeah, we Jackrabbits
Oh, okay.
played there a few years ago.
That's one of my favorite venues in the city. Like, it's the hottest place known to man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like it sounds great.
It
and
is.
Like so many great bands have been through there. It's like it's a really Jacksonville kind
Yep.
of like a
Staple.
It really is. Yeah.
We the first time we played, there's those special shows where the show ends and you kind of walk off stage, and you're like, there's no saving these clothes. They're so soaked. And that was one of them. That was the last show of a tour, and we went back behind the building and got in our van, and I was like, we're driving home. There's nothing to do with this. I just threw all my clothes in the dumpster. It was just like, it was just they were a lost cause at that point.
The Sweat owns this now.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it. No, I totally. We've definitely in Jacksonville. Like that's just
That's part of
par for
the.
the course,
yeah.
Like, the
That's
show's
what.
in October. You're like, this is miserable.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Yeah,
You
man.
won't have that problem tonight.
Okay, sweet,
I
sweet.
don't think. I don't know, but at least you have cold drinks too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just it's one of those situations where you guys you're young, you know, you're just kind of you've been doing this for 10 years. You're honing your craft. Were you show rats when you were kids? Because you're so close to so many great shows. I mean, everybody must
Yeah.
have come through there. Is there
Oh.
anybody that just kind of like, you're like,
Yeah,
I saw
dude.
them win.
What's cool about Nashville, and I think this will be a fun tag team answer because Park and Scott grew up in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Me and my brother grew up in Franklin.
How far apart are those two?
Couple like 2-3 hours.
2.5.
But because Nashville was the hub of so many shows, like in high school, especially when you get your driver's license, at the time Nashville was not anything like it was. Like wasn't as crowded. Like a Saturday night
Wasn't the,
and
big
no,
sweat party?
no, it wasn't. It wasn't at all. And so like I remember being 15, 16 years old, driving every weekend down to Nashville. We had this venue. Like between like legendary venues like Exit In and The End that are these small venues, and then there was this skate park called Rocket Town that brought in a lot of like hardcore shows, and like every weekend we were there, like and it was just like a really cool place. That it was like an all ages venue, so like a bunch of kids were there because of the skate park, but some of the best bands, especially in that scene, were coming through there, and the shows were like electric. So it was cool because we've tracked it back. We've been even when we were 15 years old, we've been in the same room and didn't even know because it was just like that's where you went to go see those shows.
Right.
But then you have the Ryman and and at the time there was Starwood Amphitheater and where I saw like Maroon 5 open for John Mayer. I like or like I'm trying to remember some of the other shows at Starwood. Did you see it? Did you ever go to
I went to Dave Matthews Band at Starwood. That was a good time.
I went to Warp Tour at Starwood. I went to Warp Tour at Starwood. And remember I've never been so thirsty in my that was the first festival.
You can't go to work
Yeah.
without being thirsty.
Dude, I remember. So this is a fun memory. Another Franklin band, Paramore, originally. Yeah, right. Small up and comers. We grew up with a lot of the people in that band, and we were at Warped Tour, and I didn't know the rules. Like I didn't know hey, make sure and hydrate. That's like pretty 15-year-old of me, and you're not thinking about water. So I just came with my Vans and some jorts, and I don't know. That was about it. And I remember they were like, after Paramore's set, we went back to say hey to them, and they were drinking out of these tin like a Coke cans, but it was all water. And I remember watching, I'm just like, and I must have been so obvious because at the time Josh was in the band. Josh goes, hey, do you want this? And I was like, please, Josh. Like, yeah, dude. So it was
Well, guys, we're really excited to see you play. We got, I think, people waiting to come in, so
Sweet.
I don't want to keep them waiting anymore. I do want to real quick touch on, we talked earlier that the band used to be called Caleb.
That's right.
At what point did you decide to go with Colony House? Because what I read
Yeah.
is that a apartment complex.
Yeah, in Franklin. Yeah. So Caleb's my name. It was when we started the band. It was not much of a band. It was kind of just me and my brother. And so and then Scott joined, and we were like, well, we could just drop Chapman and be Caleb. Like Travis is Travis. Beyonce is Beyonce.
Same difference.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for them. And so we were kind of going with that, and then it just got confusing, and we're like, we made our first album, signed to a label, and we were like, hey, should we change our band name? Like, it feels like, just to like make it feel like a band name, yes, we should do that. So at the time when we started the band, Scott moved in with my brother to the Colony House Apartments in Franklin, Tennessee,
nice.
and we're like, that's kind of where this band started. Let's take that name around the world.
They're gonna cut it.
Yeah. Yeah. They get Colony House. We feed them under the table a little bit. It's just
You guys have been around the world. Have you traveled outside the country for?
we have. Yeah. We've done a few European tours now. We just got back in August from a little run through the UK mostly. We played Vienna, which was crazy.
That's so cool.
It was beautiful. We got they were like, it's wine country.
Oh, yeah.
But it's wine country, like we're in the middle of Vienna, and you just take a 20-minute drive and you're like in the mountains.
Sausages there.
Vienna sausage, and we partook.
Nice.
Yeah, and I can confirm.
Confirmed.
Is there anywhere that's scary in Europe? Like, was there any places where you're like, this could?
There's a few sketchy like Airbnbs where you roll up and the door opens and there's some people of the night, some people of the night, like, propositions are being made, and you're like, yeah, it's not our, we'd rather just go sleep by ourselves. So a few places, being ignorant and all, that you find yourself on the street you probably shouldn't be on, but here we are. We made it.
We made it. Now you're here in Jacksonville at the Farrah and Farrah Performance Studio.
Absolutely.
Getting ready to put on a show. Caleb and Park from Colony House, thank you guys so much for your time. Really looking forward to the set, and I'd love to come out tonight, but I have a 2-year-old, and she's
I
trying
get
to
it.
quit drinking, so.
Yeah, I feel that. That's good to support your 2-year-old in that. That's good.
She's an Alatot.